So I'm going to kick it off to Julie, who'll be speaking a little bit about our upcoming master plan public meeting.
Okay. Will you pull up there we go, that's very nice, and the agenda. So just a little bit of an update, we've been working on we managed to get a master plan process funded. It seems like it was about 1 million years ago. It was kind of pre-pandemic. And it was a master plan process funded by the State Department of Conservation Natural Resources, which funds these kind of things because they're interested in then funding the actual projects and the implementation of the plan. So they funded the master plan, and we were able to get the William Penn Foundation and the Scattergood Foundation to match the $100,000 for the master plan. So that was very exciting. And the William Penn Foundation basically paid for a lot of the community engagement. So the people of the park signage project they paid for, and they also paid for an Explorer Kit project that we did. So that was really helpful. And what we wanted to try to do is make sure that things happened during this very long master plan process. So the process is pretty much done. Our consultant is Natural Lands. We did a lot of online meetings and a lot of surveying people and getting the word out and talking to people on the trail, and got a lot of wonderful feedback that most of you will, it's really the same stuff that we've been hearing from people for a very long time about their major concerns and ideas for the park. So Natural Lands is finishing up the estimates for what this will cost, and what we can present and get funded, and finishing up to make sure that sort of additional things that people wanted to add, they included. We didn't really wanted to make sure that we didn't leave, it's always hard to make sure that everything is in, but we wanted to make sure we didn't leave anything out. So they've been sort of adding, adding some more information to it as we have gone along. So the final master plan public meeting is on, this is the
All
wrong.
right, yeah, sorry, I have one old one and one new one.
Okay, so it's on June 7th, the meeting. It'll be at Friends Hospital in the Scattergood building. If nobody's ever been in that, it's a beautiful historic building. There's a big auditorium that we'll be in, and it'll be from 5 to 7. It'll be an open house from 5 to 7, so people can walk around and look at maps and figure out where you live and what see what it's going to look like, what they're recommending, very sort of up close. And then there'll be a presentation from 6 to 7. And then, the next step for us is to try to get this thing funded. It includes a lot of really wonderful improvements. It also is going to includes recommendations for funding for maintenance. And we got a very good, reaction from Parks and Recreation, which was positive. It's always been very much sort of that they have stood in the way, to be honest, about sort of getting this stuff done. It was really hard to get Parks and Rec to agree to let us to apply for these funds. So the Parks and Rec response was very positive, and that it was really time for Tacony Creek Park to get some of this attention. So what we're starting to talk to elected officials about funding and how we can get this funded. There is more funding coming down for trails and for green spaces and for environmental justice than there has been for most of my lifetime. So that's a really good thing. So we will, be looking for support from elected officials to start to get this thing implemented. And it'll be a whole additional community process that will not be done, that will include a lot of community meetings and input. But with sort of the basics of the plan already done. So what we're asking folks to do is, one, come to the meeting yourself. Some of you have already signed up. And then we want to make sure that the room is full. We want to make sure that the elected officials that come see that there's a lot of people there who are really interested in this. And we did all of the outreach during the pandemic online. So this is really sort of, and at block parties, but you know, it was really at a time when we weren't all coming together. So this is the first time a whole bunch of people are going to be together, sort of focusing on this. And we're doing everything we can to get the word out through emails and social media and partners. But we are counting on you guys to help us get the word out too. We have flyers. You can email the information to people. We can get you copies if you want a canvas, if you have a church group, you know, or a school or anybody else or your neighbors that you want to talk to. We know it's really important for there to be a good group there for elected officials to see that they're interested. So what I wanted to do is try to really put people on the spot and go around and have people add how they could help. In addition, one thing that you can help with is our 2 city council people who both, Maria Quinones Sanchez and Sherelle, stepped down to run for mayor. Sherelle Parker did too. Those are our 2 council members. Sherelle will be the next mayor. And Anthony Phillips took her place, and Ketsi Lozada took the seat for Maria Quinones Sanchez. So we have not had a lot of response from those offices. So we would love for people to contact them and say, I'm going to this master plan meeting and I hope that you're going to be there too. I really care about Tacony Creek Park. That would be helpful. And if people have other ideas, we've reached out to all the electeds about this meeting. So I'm going to stop and see who wants to, who has ideas about how to get the word out and can help us do that. I don't know who wants to go first. You're a very feisty group, so I'm not worried about this at all. Siani.
Hello. Well, I know from my end of things, being secretary of the Junia Park Civic Association, really, pressing where I can in our own communication channels. I think the more that we're bumping up our different outreach methods is starting to help people learn about the different resources in the Juniata community, including TTF and the watershed. So on that end, whether it be through our social media, our email listserv, this meeting is right before our civic meeting, so we wouldn't be able to announce ahead of time, but using those other communication channels, also utilizing my network at the Holy Innocents Church. Our young adults group just volunteered with Malcolm yesterday, so it'd be great to continue that momentum and getting people involved. And also a co-organizer for Veggie Mijas Philly, which is essentially a org that has different chapters centering environmental and food justice in communities of color. So I can also try to lean on my network there, just hitting up all my environmentally savvy friends, connecting that web, but in the Juniata area for sure with the civic and just with the faith-based groups I'm involved in.
That's great. Thank you.
I don't mind. I'm sorry, Julie, but
Go
I don't
ahead.
mind. I don't mind reaching out to the electeds. I have some contacts at Councilmember Phillips' office and Councilmember Lozada's office, as well as Rep Dawkins and Rep Belvin, because I think those are the 2 reps that take the Park North and South. So I can contact them and try to make sure that somebody from their respective offices that come to the master plan meeting.
That's awesome.
I'll speak next. This is Pamela, and I plan to reach out to some of these officials also because I'm a committee person, and I've been at different meetings with them, so I'm familiar with a lot of those different ones, and I will reach out in person. I mean, I'll call on the phone too, but I'll reach out in person to see if they can help get involved in this project.
Thank you for that, Pam. Go ahead, Eric.
There's a number of community boards in my neighborhood that I can definitely put flyers up around if you guys are not able to do so. And then yeah, just letting people that I know that it's happening.
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely get you flyers to put them up on the community boards. I'm sure you know what places that we don't know about, or like you know the best spots. Thank you. Pete?
Yeah, I purposely let people go after Siani since she makes me tired just listening to all the stuff she's doing. So great work, Siani. Yeah, I will continue to interact with the Northwood Civic Association, with Mari and with the Johnstons, who I know pretty well. You know, there's kind of a community of green space stuff going on. So like they've done a lot with the Northwood Park. And then my work is doing a lot of green space stuff down at K&A of all places. So Esperanza Health Center has bought some lots and they're going to start doing that. And there's they have a master plan. So it'd kind of be neat to, if we could get a representative from there to come and, you know, just kind of interact on, they did a presentation the other day and, obviously there's studies that in neighborhoods where there's green spaces, depression goes down and stuff like that. So pretty good stuff, pretty important stuff.
Thank you. If any of you guys need flyers, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I can print. You guys, I can drop them off for you if you ever need them. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Oh, Dalila's here too. She said she'd help by passing out flyers. There she is.
Yes, hi, I made it in. I'm sorry, there was a little bit of traffic.
That's okay. We're also, we post on, I know everybody's different with social media. So this will be on the Keepers Facebook page. So if you guys are on that, we're always trying to get more people to go there. And then we'll be posting on Instagram. And we're going to be doing some ads on Instagram and on Facebook, because that really helps bring people out. And Malcolm's going to be out tomorrow. It does help to post flyers in the park, so we'll be doing some of that. So any other ideas people have? It takes a lot to get the word out. There's a lot of stuff going on for people. So thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, sorry, Malcolm, if you are out dropping off flyers anytime between now and the weekend, obviously this weekend, I'd be happy to distribute flyers out in the park on our walks. I'll be doing the Saturday morning one, and I'm pretty sure I'll be out Sunday evening, of course, for our inaugural Sunday 5 p.m. walk from Mine Ramona with our new additional leader, Lawrence. So I could be boots on the ground in the park this weekend. And obviously I've been telling neighbors immediately here in our section, about it, because I'm sure they have lots of interest and motivated to be there and put a little input in.
Mm-hmm. We should probably get flyers to Katie for tomorrow morning too, if we can.
I can try to get them. I can try to get Katie some flyers tomorrow morning before her walk.
Or
and then Thomas, I can definitely leave some for you at some point during that. I can just leave them at your house.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Julie, did you have anything else you wanted to add regarding?
I just want to say, Malcolm, if you can drop some flyers off to me, I would like to give some out also.
I can do that, Pam. It's not a problem at all.
Wow, you guys are great. Thank you so much. It really makes a difference. People, word of mouth is very effective. People like to hear from people that they know. And again, I think, and then I'm going to be done, but I think that, this will be a big plan with a lot of information. And I think that, as people who know the park so well and care about it so well, I think that Natural Lands has done a really good job understanding what people care about and coming up with some creative ideas that are, trying to make sure that the city sees this as reasonable which is sort of unfortunate, you know, because they're spending so much money in FDR Park and a bunch of other places, but we want to get this done. You know, we want to make sure that it's something that we can get done. But I think they've also come up with some really nice connections and opportunities. And I also think they've done, I think everybody will be happy with how they've presented, like what Pete was talking about, the importance of the park in terms of people's health and community and family. I think they you know, they're experts at this. So I read a couple of pages today, and you know, they're quoting studies from around the country that support the kind of work that we know is important.
Eric, I see you raise your hand.
Yeah, will there be good signage at the Friends Hospital? I've never been there, so I'm not exactly sure which building it is, just to make sure that everyone else.
So
can get there.
we'll be posting signs of like where to go when you get there.
Right. And maybe we'll put you out front to welcome people, so they know where they're going. The good thing about Friends Hospital is there's parking, you know, so people can, and you can walk there and see it. You know, there's not a lot of places to meet in our area. So I think this is a good spot because people can park there. People know where it is. And you know, there's bus lines that go there. If you find people who can't figure out how to get there, let us know. You know, if we find there's people who need rides, we'll figure it out.
Do you have anything else to add, or was that it?
I was wondering if you could email the flyers out.
Yes, I can.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yep, that's not a problem at all, Fiona. So now I'm going to pass it to Pam, who's going to speak a little bit about the Birds of a Feather, that event that we had on April 22nd. So Pam, if you'd just like to talk about kind of your experience volunteering with that, how the day went, some highlights. I think we may have lost Pam. Yeah, I think her phone unfortunately disconnected. So Dorian, would you like to talk about Birds of a Feather?
I'm gonna put the link to the blog in the chat.
Thank you.
Pam, where'd she go?
Or Pam, yeah, I guess her call dropped. Yeah, I'll just summarize real quickly. It was a very successful, wonderful day. And we had a food truck there. We had a lot of artists and a lot of people. It was just a day of art and creativity. And so it was really great. And now the murals are freshly painted underneath the Whitaker Avenue Bridge. And this was the second one that we've done. And we look forward to doing some more of these. So yeah. Feel free to, there's wonderful photos in the blog link as well.
Yep, there she is.
We were on the news for 5 seconds. Pam, are you back?
Yeah, my phone cut off, so I had to call back and to get back into the meeting. It just connected again.
Okay. We're glad you could rejoin us. We were just going over the Birds of a Feather event. If you just kind of wanted to share your experience, like how it went, any highlights from the day that you wanted to share.
Oh, yes. Well, I think it was a great day for spending Earth Day at the park. And there were so many wonderful activities and the creative artists that were there. And all the activities for adults and for children. My grandchildren really enjoyed themselves. And the food truck, the food was great. But I just love the activities of us coming together with each other. And like when they asked the questions about the environment and everybody had to pick a part, and I thought that was so great. And I really enjoyed the one that picked me out, which made me so special. But the event was just a beautiful day for family, friends, and family. And I think it's so wonderful the way when you put on events, you make it so pleasant for everybody to really enjoy themselves. And it's like the few hours I spent there, you kind of forget about the horrible things that's going on in the world, and just like in a peaceful place. So it was a great event, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Of course, thank you for volunteering. We're always so happy to have you.
You're welcome.
And then Jordan, I'm going to pass it over to you for the next few slides as we talk about the upcoming River Alive stuff.
Yes, thank you. So so very exciting. You know, we're reopening the River Alive Learning Trail near Fergo Playground. So we are going to be celebrating the return of these sculptures and educational exhibits on Saturday, June 3rd. So please join us that morning. We'll be there from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to have pop-up activity stations next to each sculpture. City Love will be back to perform the songs, the watershed songs that they composed. And we'll also have a lot of new giveaways and just a lot of the fun hands-on activities for the families. And this is the sculptures will be back on the 3rd, and it will continue to remain there throughout the entire summer through the fall. And we're going to be reactivating with program as well. So we'll have weekly story times, and we'll also have programming with our Seek and Find trail map and the new coloring activity. And we are doing field trips again to the Independent Seaport Museum. So that will be monthly near the last Sundays of the month. So everybody that didn't get a chance to go, last fall, there'll be an opportunity to go starting June all the way through December. So we look forward to seeing you there, and share the flyer, get the word out. We did mail out some postcards for the date for Saturday, and so get the word out about this, and we look forward to seeing you there. And then I will also touch upon, another great celebration that we do every summer, we kick off the summer with our block parties. So we will be kicking off on Tuesday, June 13, and these will be in the evening from 5 to 7. So we'll do I and Ramona Gateway on Tuesday, we'll do Whitaker Avenue Gateway on Wednesday, and then Tabor Road Gateway on Thursday. So we will have a lot of the activities and fun games and partners that come and join us, the recycling bins, we'll have the Creek Mobile. And one thing that we'll need help, because these are 3 in a row. And we would love your help to help us volunteer, help us sign in and greet everybody that comes to join us, help us set up the tables and canopies. So we do have a sign up form for volunteers, so you can select the day and time that you can come and help us with. So help us get the word out of these wonderful events, and hope you can join us and help, give us a hand on these. If you know of any groups that would be able to, also volunteer some of their time, let us know.
Thank you. Thomas, I know we had talked about this a little bit earlier, but talking about the new Sunday walks that we have, and I believe you have a shiny new title, if I'm correct. If you want to share that with the group as well.
Hey, thanks, Malcolm. And good evening, everyone. Again, I'm sure I've met most of you already, but my name's Tom McHale, and I have been leading walks in the park for the last 2 years, and I've recently been promoted to supervisor of our several walks that go on down the park. So thanks for that, everyone. But most importantly, we now have at least 3 walks scheduled every weekend. Friday mornings at 9 a.m. starting at Tabor and Alany with Katie. Saturdays, that's the group that I'm always out there with every week. We do ours at 9:30, and it's an alternating schedule. We do Whitaker and Loudon, and alternating weeks we start at Tabor and Alany. So this Saturday at 9:30, we'll be walking from Tabor and Alany. And the new announcement is that Sunday evenings, we're going to be having a walk starting at I and Ramona with a new walk leader that we've added to the team, Lawrence. He's a great, interesting young man who's very interested and excited about getting out and being active this summer. So it should be an exciting walk. And that's going to be the first time we've had regular walks from I and Ramona in a long time. So I'm really excited for all of the people who are eager to be able to walk to a start location and not have to drive or get in a car. And for the members of the community down in the southern sections, I and Ramona is such a great place. So that will be Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. So we have all those 3 walks, and we're always looking for feedback on other times or, schedules that are interesting to people. So we're always excited to see if anyone has any other ideas or suggestions, but we're trying to meet what we have heard and trying to add to that. So Sunday will be a new walk starting this week. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but it'll kind of be a nice soft opening for Lawrence to get his feet wet.
So I think it's really not, I sound old saying this, but it's nice. Lawrence is young, he's going to be a senior in high school, I think.
I believe so.
So, he approached us when he saw the listing and is really excited about this and has gotten great support and training from Thomas. So, we've heard people want more young people programs. And I think young people want to walk with other young people. So we're excited about this. I think it's good.
And then Julie, I didn't know if you wanted to do a little segue into this next part, or just hand it off to Eric kind of regarding the park improvement ideas that we were kind of looking at.
So I think Eric, I'll just say one thing real quick. So, we've done, we used to feel like these things were just a drop in the bucket, and then we just started to think of them more as like these are pilot projects that show what kind of things can really make a difference, with limited resources. So the enhancement of the Tabor and Alney Gateway with the plantings that we did there, and circuit signs, and now there's a people at the park sign there, and there's a little library. So those things feel like they have made a difference. They're not enormous, but they really show what the impact of that is. So we're hoping with the master plan we can get a lot of great stuff done, but that's not going to happen for a little while. And we know how excited people were, for example, to see the circuit signs and the locator signs, any improvements that we can bring. So we are working on trash cans. I'm afraid it's hard to believe how complex trash cans can be, but we actually have trash cans, and we are hoping to get them in the park this summer, and figuring out a way. TTF will be servicing those. But Eric has another really fabulous idea. Eric has a lot of ideas, but this is one that we're going to move forward with. And Marianne, who's still on, right? Where is she? Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
So, yay. So Marianne has been an incredible connection with Parks and Rec, and it looks like this is something that we can move ahead with. So Eric, why don't you share your ideas?
Sure. So yeah, I was thinking of what improvements can be done in the short term before the master plan is implemented. And I bike through the park a lot, and I just saw all the benches that are all north of the boulevard, the benches that are along the trail, at least, not the ones at the gateways. And most of them are broken. I think there's 4 that are fully functioning as a bench, as simple as it is for a bench to be functioning. And so I work for a manufacturing company, and they throw out a lot of old pallets and old lumber stuff that is pretty usable. And so I started collecting it, and I currently have 30 2x4s, and my estimates, I need 36 to be able to replace all the broken ones and ones that are in really bad disrepair. And so, yeah, and then it's just like it's just a bit of change in terms of hardware, nuts and bolts, which Julie has said that they can provide. And so, yeah, it's just a matter of going and taking out the old ones that are there. Some bolts will need to be cut, I suspect, because they've been bent, which will probably be one of the bigger tasks. And then, yeah, I was kind of thinking progressively, just, I mean, I will do it on my own, but if other people are willing and want to help, that'd be great. I think it's a pretty simple project that every time I go through, pretty much all the benches are full that are there, and all the ones that are broken are obviously empty. And so it'd just be nice to have things within the park that people can go to and sit at, instead of just going straight through up and down. So yeah, that's my idea. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. Any questions, I suppose?
It's a good idea to make the park look more loved, you know, if things are taken care of.
Yeah.
I guess not really a question, but more so just like appreciation that we might actually be getting benches. Because I was just talking about this to someone else, like it is like, if we want this park to be lived in, or at least more lived in than it is now, we have to have places for people to rest.
Definitely. Hi, Micaiah.
Hello.
And Eric, are you planning to do that by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I could. It would take me a little while, probably a couple weekends. But I don't think it shouldn't be too difficult to do. But yeah, if other people are willing to help, it would be carrying the 2x4s into the park. Most of them aren't too far away from gateways and entrances, so it shouldn't be too much carrying of things. If someone has like a pull behind wagon or something, that'd be helpful. And then just kind of basic tools, got drills and wrenches and things. Yeah, I think it should be pretty easy.
Even if you yourself can't help, definitely talking to your neighbors, seeing if there are anybody that you know in your community or your friends who like this kind of handiwork and have a love for the park, and see if they can come and help too. So once again, it's kind of spreading the word, seeing who's available to kind of help Eric out. It's not just him.
Yeah, Eric, I just put my email in the chat. So if you don't mind, just shoot me a line so I have your contact, but we can schedule something. I'd definitely be happy to help you, put some stuff together. I was even thinking about like if you wanted to paint or stain or anything like that, extra hands. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I'd definitely be happy to help you out wherever I can. Just reach out and we can schedule times that works for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they are untreated 2x4s. So they're not going to last forever, but also they don't need to. Hopefully, with the master plan, we'll get fancy, expensive benches, but for now, we'll get sturdy, cheap benches that will last us until that time, hopefully. So yeah, I wasn't thinking about painting them or treating them. The ones that I've seen in the park that have been painted, that chips away quickly and or it gets spray painted. And so I don't know, I just wasn't quite sure if it was worth it. But if you have expertise in that regard and wanted to go through and paint them after they're installed, that'd be fantastic too.
And that's a good way to be able to find out if anybody wants to help. It's just by giving your email out, or how can we find out how to get in touch?
Oh, you're on mute.
We have Malcolm, don't we have a directory of keepers? We could share that again.
Yeah, I can resend that. That's not a problem at all.
And there that is. And we'll post something on the keepers page. So people can get in touch with Eric.
Yeah, and I'll have to figure out what dates work for me. So I can definitely put that into the Facebook page too.
Malcolm, what else did we have on the agenda?
Sorry, that was the last thing on the agenda. Just last thing was closing remarks. Pete, I saw your comment. I'm gonna drop the link for the June 7th meeting in the chat.
And I think,
All right,
we
do
don't
it.
we don't want these meetings all to be us talking at people. So, we scheduled till 7. So I think, this should just be like an open forum and people can share recent things in the park or other ideas. It's been really helpful for people to keep us informed about things that are going on that we can contact Parks and Recreation about. Again, we say this all the time, but what people need to do if they see, an abandoned car, a fallen tree, whatever, is you got to report it to 311, and then you should feel free to email or text or contact us. The first thing the city says when we contact them is, did someone post this to 311? And then, if it's more significant, then we push for that. So there was an abandoned car below, between Tabor, sort of below on that sort of ghost path that's close to the creek below the Tabor entrance, which we were not aware of. And Katie Leander pointed that out to us. So it's on 311, but then we email Mary and other people, and Parks and Rec is figuring out how to get that out of there. They need a special tow truck to get in for stuff like that. But it gets brought to people's attention, and hopefully things get moved on faster than they have been in the past. I know Pete has some things to share.
Yeah, I did my little walk around today in preparation for the meeting, just so I have current data. So yeah, it's kind of the usual that Scattergood's got to kind of take care of their own side of the creek, but their grass is like 3 foot high and they still are allowing access for trucks to drive down there. There's some short dumping on their side, and that obviously sort of affects the overall view of the park if people can just get away with stuff like that. The gate down by Fisher's Lane Bridge is still wide open. The gate on the other side of the creek at Fisher's Bridge, there's a chain and a couple of locks, but it actually has been cut. It's just kind of jammed in there to look like maybe it's going to stop something. The cool thing is that, like, if trees could talk, I think they would laugh at the ATV drivers, because they're not gonna knock down any of those beech trees anytime soon. And so that's the good news, is that the trees are strong. I went up in the meadow. It had been cut down. The town fathers of that area decided to cut down all the grass early this spring and set some of it on fire, but it's growing back. I mean, there's some pretty big ruts. There's some hills up there. I mean, it's basically a multi-use park down that area at this point, But I mean, it'd just be good that people can't drive trucks in there. That'd be real nice if they'd at least secure it so people can't drive trucks into the park and dump stuff.
Yep. No, I hear you. I mean, I think that we've had more success getting the city to be responsive, and the Scattergood side continues to not sort of act on those kind of things. I also want to give a shout out to, so there was a fire at the
Right.
Meadow, that Eric called into 911, right?
Yeah, that was, I was just looking at pictures. That was April 11th. I was just coming home from work and happened to smell smoke and headed up there, and there was a big fire. So the fire truck came. That's why one of the gates is cut open, because they had to get access. So they drove as close as they could, but then had to just run hoses up the hill up to just to the bottom of the meadow. But
Oh, that makes
it's
sense.
a pretty
Yeah.
big fire. I don't know if it was necessarily intentional. It was just so dry out, like it could have been a cigarette butt or something. that
Yeah, that's
started it.
happened before.
Um,
That's somewhat typical. That happens every 5 or 10
Mhm.
years. And the Meadow was amazing because it
Yeah.
it recovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was sort of the contain it to a degree and keep it from going
That's a-
really
I
close to
guess
the
that's a
woods.
good thing.
Yeah.
Look at the
So,
bright side.
right. So, you know, when the fire department or the police come, they don't look for keys or anything. They just cut. That's how they do it so that they can get in, which is fine. And we just have to replace those. Marianne, who's still here, has been wonderful about looking into gate repairs. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, Marianne. The other thing we're trying to do is talk to, is see about getting some no smoking or fire danger signage, because it's so dry. You know, it's continued to be dry. And there are places where people have been, you know, with people who are hanging out in the park, we know we've all seen places where people have lit fires. Can see the remnants of that. So I think we're going to try to get, you know, I know signs don't stop things, but they do give people a, you know, it does make it pretty clear that officially we're concerned about this, you know, that it's something to think about. So we're hoping to get some of those signs. Mary, do you want to talk? There she goes. Want to talk about gates? There you
Sure.
are.
So, I'm just here with my kid, which is why I've been off mic. A lot of my job is just kind of being a liaison to the different park departments. So, I talk to our operations team and let them know about the gates, and then I'll continue to follow up. So I don't have any updates at this point. I think we put it in last week. So we'll continue to advocate for that. And then Joe on our communications team, he does signage. So I know that my supervisor, Lisa, has been in touch with him about designing a sign. And I was also recently up at Wissahickon, and I thought they had some interesting signs that included like no fire, no swimming. So I didn't know if that was a potential template or something to go off of, just in light of your conversation. I know you're also trying to put in some no swimming signs and things like that. So that's pretty much my update, but I'll continue following up and make sure things move forward with that.
Thank you. It is great to have you, Marianne.
Yeah, happy to be here.
It's really made a difference, everybody. This has been really great. Oh, the other thing about the Meadow is I know that the natural, I never forget the name, I always forget the names of all the different divisions of Parks and Rec, but the natural lands people, right? Are
Yep,
doing,
natural land.
they're treating them, I think pretty soon. So they'll be posting signs about that to control some of the invasives up there. So Aylin Compton contacted us about that. And we can post something so everybody knows about that.
Julie, if I have some time, with the in Ramona, like I mentioned, I sent you an email. I haven't done a lot of the things that I wanted to do, but I'm still very concerned because they're using that area to do a lot of wheelies, and is you know, and I know there's an event around the evening time, which is when a lot of people gather because it's after work, and then you know they're ready to do some wheelies, and then they leave, and then they come in shifts. So it's a lot going. So I would definitely push a little bit more. I know Andy from the Losadas office, he has helped me with some slow speeds within some schools areas. So I'm hoping that he will be able to help me. I would like to see those white balls to be put in right in the middle, but I don't know how you feel about asking for something like that right in the entrance of Iron Ramona. I know it's very useful for parking and for events. I don't know how pretty those white things will look.
That intersection, I took a walk with some people from the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission who know all about transportation and planning and everything. And we got to that spot, and they were like, this is such, this is just too big. This intersection is too big. You have an intersection this big, and it's a perfect place for people to do wheelies. It's just, one of the issues there is just the water department has to be able to get in and out of that building with big trucks. But that still doesn't mean that can be improved. There will be starting, I think, on the other side where the water department fence is, the Frankfort Creek Greenway is supposed to go up I Street and then turn left onto Cayuga. So there's supposed to be a protected bike lane along I Street. In addition, one of the things that Natural Lands is recommends as part of the whole master plan is that we don't have any sidewalks. I mean, we don't even think about it because we're just used to it, but there are no sidewalks along the park that make it easier, safer for people to walk to get to the park and make it harder for people to dump trash. So that's one of the things that they're recommending, just think about how.
Which it's funny you mentioned that because I wanted that to be marked. So that's great to hear.
Right. So just think about how different it would be if along Ramona there was a sidewalk. It would really make an incredible difference. So I think we should keep talking about that. I mean, I think anything that's things that are temporary but still make it safer and prevent that kind of behavior is good. As part of as part of the River Alive Learning Trail, we are painting the crosswalk from Dorian. Where are we painting the crosswalk?
Yeah, so we're repainting the ones that are on Cayuga. And then we're adding another one that's that crosswalk right across the street from the I Ramona Gateway. So right at I and Ramona, that crosswalk.
Which it will get damaged by the cars. That will be very sad. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you, though.
It's a fight. I chatted Dorian. When we have events, we contact the police. So we've reached out to Tina Willis, who's the liaison for that district, so that they know when there's going to be a block party. But I hear you.
Something else at that gateway, I mean, I know that you're aware of it, but they put in the accessible walkway, but there's still a trench there. It's been 4 weeks. So in the name of accessibility, it's been inaccessible for 4 weeks. I'm about to cut a piece of plywood and put it across the whole thing. But that's another issue. But I've noticed that seems like that trash can is always overflowing and dumped out. And I tried to look at it either something's missing there or it needs much bigger bags because the bags just never are put in there correctly. And so whenever trash is thrown in, it just immediately pulls it out, and then trash just ends up everywhere.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the fix is.
So there's been issues with. I mean, we've had a few times where it gets full before it gets, it gets picked up. And we've tried to service that and pull out the trash and put it next to the gateway so it just gets picked up. We will be buying some 50-gallon bags because that is a 50-gallon trash can. So TTF can replace it when the folks from Parks and Rec can't get there. But we're trying to, with limited Parks and Rec staff, we're trying to make sure that we keep that gateway cleaner, and we will share that. I will share that with Alex. And we have a new seasonal maintenance attendant who just started this week, and we should be able to keep those gateways clean.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Also, it would be nice to have some sort of like no parking there or something. I mean, it's not a huge deal in the world, but like as a cyclist who goes in and out of there every day, and it's already kind of an awkward thing to bike from the trail through the gateway and the bollards, but then oftentimes there's people parked there. Sometimes they're in the park walking their dogs. But it'd just be nice to, since it's already such a divide between the park and the neighborhood, to not have vehicles parked there as well, stopping it like right in front of the gateway.
People are not supposed to park right in front of the gateway. That happens in Whitaker and Loudon all the time. We could get a sign too to go there.
So Dan, you had something you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I just wanted to make an announcement, for that. So we are, with the block parties are June 13, 14, and 15. And so we are kicking off a photo contest that we do every, 2 years. So we're kicking off another photo contest that will launch on the block parties June 13, and you can submit photos, up to 5 photos, up until July 31st. And there are cash prizes for adults, youth, and children under 12 years old. And the winners will be announced and cash prizes awarded at our Fall Fest on October 7th. So I will share a blog with instructions, and this will also come out on our newsletter as well. So stay tuned, save the dates, and we look forward to seeing your photos.
I think we're almost done. Hey, Malcolm, will you just connect with Jamie Lee about Siani's request for Instagram? All right. It is 7:01. Isn't everybody's stomach grumbling? Mine is. Do we have any other last minute important things? You guys are great. Thank you for meeting at dinner time on the Thursday night before Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for showing up. I know Malcolm is very persistent about contacting everybody. And it really is great to see people. It's a lot more fun to get on these calls and see all these faces and talk about positive stuff.
So just a heads up, the next meeting will be Thursday, June 22nd. So you can expect another round of emails and phone calls from me leading up to that.
Thank you, everybody. And Eric's, yeah, good. I'm glad you saw that. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for all the hard work you're doing as well.
Great, everybody. Have fun this weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care,
Bye.
Great
everyone.
weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for inviting me.
Enjoy.
Of course.
Take care. Bye.
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 Stay safe, everyone.
You too.
Yeah, I say bye.